Hello everyone, welcome back to Kirklees Guitar School. In today's acoustic guitar lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater Revival. If you're after Tina's version, there's a couple of similarities between these two and you can definitely take something from it. If you head to the first link in the description, you can download a PDF that accompanies this lesson completely for free. That'll take you to my website and there's loads of other songs and bits on there that are free to look at over there. And I'd urge you to check that out. There's a couple of rhythms that just need that little bit of extra attention in this lesson, and I'd advise that you print this off and work alongside it with me here in the video. If you like the way that I teach and you'd like to see a little bit more of me, I'd urge you to check out the second link in the description. That'll take you to the Kirklees Guitar School Academy. The Kirklees Guitar School Academy is my membership platform where every lesson I teach here on YouTube, you get additional resources to help you get it across the line, such as a guided playthrough with scrolling tabs on screen and a technical focus lesson that's song specific that looks into one niche thing that gives you an extra lesson based upon the song. You can try that with a 14-day free trial from the second link in the description. I'd urge you to check it out. Right, what are we up against today then? So I'll put these chords on screen for you while I'm waffling. Now, there's a couple of chords in here. We've got C, A, G6, which is the easiest chord of them all. You don't have to press anything, you just play the open strings. More on that later. You've got a bog standard G. You've got an F chord. Now, don't turn off the video, it's okay. If you can't play the F bar chord, I know Fogerty's playing the bar chord, but if you can't, play an F major 7 in its place instead and it'll sound just fine. We've got a D chord, and then a B minor chord. Again, if you're not used to playing the bar chord, B minor chord, get rid of the bar and just press that F sharp on the second fret of the high E string. The pinball wizard way of playing a B minor, and that'll help you get it across the line. So what I've done here with this, I've tried my best to... John Fogerty the vast majority of the time plays this with his guitar tuned all the way down to D standard. So essentially, instead of Eddie 8 Dynamite Goodbye Eddie as tuning the strings, he tunes them all 2 frets lower. And what that does is it gives it that sort of lovely kind of swampy sound that we know and love from Creedence Clearwater Revival. I have seen clips of him online in researching this lesson where he just plays it in standard tuning as well. So I think it's whichever ways the wind's blowing and whatever guitar he's got dictates what he's going to play. In the interests of keeping it accessible for everybody, I'm going to teach you how to play this today in standard tuning. I'm sure you can find a tutorial or some chords somewhere if you want to tune it down to D, but I'm trying to make this as accessible to everybody. I hope you can understand why I've done that. Right, there's this intro that we're going to work on, which everybody knows. I think a lot of people look at this at the first time of going through the song, get immediately confused and then go look at something else. It looks like a lot. We're going to break it down in detail now. But I think the way you need to think about it is it's just the same bar or the same 2 rhythms repeated again and again and again. So we just need to break it down into bite-sized chunks. Let's hear what it's supposed to sound like first and then we'll break it down. So starting from the very top, you've got a C chord. So let's see what's going on here. This very first bar, C, C, A, and then you've got this G6. So, and you'll see we just repeat the same thing over and over again. We're going to play this C chord in quavers, and we're going to go down, up, down. 1 and 2. Try that for me. Now, you would be mistaken for thinking it goes to that A a little bit earlier. I've listened to the record thoroughly. It doesn't. It puts that in there. 1 and 2. And then on that next upstroke, instead of putting another upstroke of C, we're going to change to an A chord, which is A major, the 3 stood on top of each other. Now, just practice those 4 strokes. Down, up, down on C. And then you're going to do an upstroke on that A chord. You haven't got a lot of time to change that A chord, but if you stick with it, it'll come. Pause the video and get that under your fingers if you need to. If you feel confident, we're going to stick on this A chord and we're going to put another up and a down. The V's mean upstroke, the little bridges all look like staples mean down. So you play that A chord with an upstroke, another upstroke, followed by a down. Up, up, down. So you've got up, up, down. If we tie that into the C, you've got down, up, down, up, up, down. We haven't got to this G yet. Hang fire. Pause the video and get the C and the A sorted first. If you're okay so far, we're then going to play a G6. Now a G6, I've spoken about this on the YouTube channel before. It's called the John Lennon trick. John Lennon would let go of all of the strings of the guitar and just with an upstroke just play the open kind of roughly 4 strings of the guitar. And this was to buy him a little bit of time to get to the next chord. But John's doing this for a little bit of rhythmic variation. So after you've played that A chord, you've gone up, up, down. You're going to just do that last upstroke on what we call the and of 4. It's the very last beat in the bar before we move on to the next one. You're going to let go of all the strings and play the open strings. Let me play it in situ so that you can, because once you hear it, it'll make a lot more sense. Now slowed down, it doesn't sound too impressive, but if I play it, you'll notice that this bar is identical to this one. If I play those two back to back, it's just a quick little kind of almost like percussive variation that he's doing. Now, how can you water this down if you're struggling with it? Because the verses are far easier to play than this intro. This intro puts a lot of people off. Excuse me. So what you can do if you're a beginner, I'd get those 3 strokes of C in and that first stroke of A, and then I'd leave these 3 quavers up to the band. So I go C, 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 A, C, 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 A. So if you're a beginner, prolong this note and let the band take care of the rest of this. If you feel up to the challenge, getting that G6 in sounds awesome. So this is easily the trickiest 2 bars of the piece. So if you need to pause the video or rewind it and get that under your fingers, by all means feel free to do so. Moving on. This is the second part. You've got C, 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 A. So these 3 bars, these sort of four strokes here, there's nothing different. But then, with another upstroke using syncopation, which means off the beat, you're going to play a G chord with an upstroke. You're then going to play an F chord with an upstroke. So you get this lovely kind of like. Now what's happening is it's moving on what we call the off beat. So that's beat 1, that's beat 2. This is the and of 2, the and of 3, and the and of 4. Now that's really common in like reggae music. You get this sort of. And it's all done with upstrokes. It makes you want to move. It's called syncopation. It's a great songwriting trick that a lot of people use. And we're borrowing a little bit of that, going upstroke on A, upstroke on G, upstroke on F. Now, because these need to last for a full beat, and we're playing on the last bastion of that bar on the and of 4, we need to tie a little quaver in over here to make the note last. To add the note up to 1 beat basically, because we're over the threshold of this bar. When you see a note that's got, I call them washing lines. The technical term is a tie for them. If you see that a note that's tied like this, you don't have to strum this, and that's why I haven't put either a V or a downstroke or an upstroke above it. Okay, you don't have to strum this very first note in this bar. You just need to let this one ring over and let it bleed over into this one. So you see how we've got that F, and then this is the same amount of space between this F chord here and this F here, because this is just continued between these two. So you're going to go upstroke on A, upstroke on G, upstroke on F, another upstroke on F, followed by down, up, down. This bar feels like it's way more complicated than it is. It's just sitting on that F chord. But it puts a D chord at the very end. I'm pretty sure the Tina version has a G or another A, or there's another chord in here in the Tina version that they put in, but on the Creedence Clearwater Revival is just sticking on F throughout. Following on from that, we're just going to go to a D chord. Now, this rhythm pretty much stays consistent for every bit where he's singing, basically, that's not the intro. We're going to do this, which is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, I had a couple of different ways that I could go with the rhythm for this, because there's two guitar parts that weave in and out of each other. I decided to go for John's part, and I'll tell you why. It's far more useful to you, that'll bleed over into other songs, whereas the one that's in the... I think it's in the left-hand speaker. I forget the guitarist's name. What's the other guitarist in Creedence Clearwater Revival called? Remind me, let me know down in the comments. He's doing this. Sort of feeding into that reggae. Up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up. Which is a great rhythm and it's loads of fun, but I feel like again, the pool of people that this video will serve, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. If you want to, by all means, rest on beat 1, go up, down, up, down, up, down, up. If you want to play it like that, be my guest. But the way Fogerty plays it opens up a wider conversation. Now, rather than just... Where are we? There we go. Rather than just blindly... We're going to add some accents in. Now, the technical focus in the Academy that accompanies this lesson, we've got a couple of options. Because what you can do is beat 2 and beat 4 of the bar, you can hit the guitar a little bit harder with an accent, and it creates like a train beat. A train beat's like a country and western. And it gives it this sort of like driving kind of, driven feeling. And we're going to try and sort of incorporate a bit of that into the song. So I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And beat 2 and 4. I'm just strumming the strings, just maybe 20% harder. I'm not really smacking them. I'm just giving it that little bit more power through the wrist. And it gives it, instead of... It's... Now, obviously, I'm over-exaggerating for the means of demonstration, but it gives. I hope you can hear that at home. It sounds great in the room. It just gives it that little bit more of a driving feeling. What you can also do is you could add like a little bit of a, which I cover in the technical focus. You'll see Fogerty doing this sometimes. And he's sort of making it like almost like a bit bluesy with that kind of vibe. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, check out the technical focus lesson I did on this in the Academy. Right, so this bleeds over into the verse. So he'll start singing from here. You'll do 2 bars of that D, and then we're going to sit on it for another 6 bars, and that's left a good job in the city. And I'm just going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 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 up. And I never lost 1 minute of sleep, and I was worried about the way that things might have been. Now you can hear it goes. You can see at the bottom right, it goes to an A chord. Now excuse my singing, but I wanted you to hear exactly where that came in. We're at the very bottom of the first page of the PDF here, and we're going to go to that A chord there, and that's big wheels keep on turning. So for the verse, we're just strumming down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up for 6 bars before going to the A chord. Okay? Where are we? There we are, look. So you see, sorry, not 6 bars, 8 bars, my mistake, it's early. Following that, we've gone to the A chord for a bar, and he's sung Big Wheels Keep On Turning. We're going to do an A chord for another bar. B minor for 2 bars, and that's Proud Mary Keep On Burning. Now, I'm doing the bar chord there because that's how I've seen Fogerty doing it. If you want to do the baby one, the 4-fingered B chord, or even the 3-fingered B chord, you're more than welcome to. Make it as accessible for you where you are. And then we go back to D. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. And we go back to D at the bottom where it says rolling, bottom line down here for 4 bars. So that's what your entire verse looks like. And can you see, if you have a look in the bottom right hand corner, there's a funny looking bracket. Well, that's for a repeat marker, is that? So you're going to play verse 1, you're going to go all the way back up to verse 1 on page 1 and play it another time. So you actually play verse 1 twice before you move on. Following on from that, as we get onto page 2, you're going to go back to the intro. And there's nothing new here, it's just the same as what we've previously done. Notice there's another repeat marker up here, so that means that we're coming back. Following on, you've got another solo stroke verse. Now, in the first time round this, there'll be a guitar solo over the top. And the second time, I think the lyric, I can't remember the lyric off the top of my head, but you're essentially just going to play another verse, which goes into Big Wheels Keep On Turning, Proud Mary Keep On Burning. And then in the ending, we're just literally going to vamp on that D chord over and over and over again. So the general crux of the song, I know I sort of rushed through the back half of that. Although there's 3 pages, it's a lot of the same thing round and round and round. And you've either got the verse, the intro part with all the syncopation, or you've got the down up strokes for the verses. And I'd encourage you to work on both of those and then separately, and then try and put them together. I'm just playing acoustic guitar today. If you were using an electric guitar at home, I'd encourage you to use a clean channel, maybe a splash of reverb and not too much treble. You can't really go wrong with this. I think the best lesson in this for you all is the syncopation in the beginning with that. You know, where it's doing those upstrokes on that F and that G chord. But also try and get that accent in there. And it just gives it that little bit more. What's the right way to think about it? It just gives it that little bit more something that makes it sound like we know what we're doing, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? What Creedence Clearwater Revival song do you think I should cover next? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you next week for another acoustic guitar lesson. Thank you so much for watching.